Ah, Las Vegas, my home away from home. In 1953, my dad, his second wife, my cousin and I took a trip across country. We left from Rochester, New York in my dad's Hudson Hornet. Some of you old timers maybe remember that car. Went through Buffalo, across the Peace Bridge into Canada, down through Detroit, went in Michigan, South Dakota, Wyoming. We went to Salt Lake City, Utah. And on our way to Reno, we stopped at a little motel. My cousin and I had one room, and my dad and his wife had the other. In the room, on the wall, in a picture frame, was a sign. And the sign said, "We regret the necessity of putting up a sign like this, but everything in this room has been inventoried, and we will know at once if anything has been taken. And we'll make it a point to intercept you either before you reach Salt Lake City or Reno." Now, I'm 18 years old. That's a challenge. Challenge accepted. I looked around and took the one thing in the room I figured wasn't inventoried. I took the sign.
Did you ever get to Vegas?
On the way back from California, we stopped off in Las Vegas. Now, back then, there was only 4 or 5 hotels. The Old Frontier, the Thunderbird, the Bugsy Siegel's Flamingo. We stayed at a little motel next door to the Flamingo, and we had pool privileges there at the Flamingo. So at the pool, I met this cute little girl. I would say little, I mean, she was my age. And to show off, I took her to the show at the Flamingo. Back then, I was a big spender. We each had a Coke. It cost me $1.10 to see this show. And I really liked that place. And I said, you know, this place has possibilities. When I'm older, I'm coming back here.
When did you return?
In 1967 was the first time I came back to Las Vegas. There was a convention there which I attended, and it was my first time gambling in Las Vegas. I've been gambling all my life, but first time in the big city. And I was ahead. On the last night, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to make sure I left Las Vegas as a winner. I knew I had to get up about 4 o'clock to make a 6 o'clock flight. And so what am I going to do for 3 hours? If I went to sleep, I knew I'd never wake up. So I decided, okay, I'm going to kill some time, but I still am going to leave Vegas as a winner. So I bought $20 worth of nickels, and I played a nickel slot machine. At that time, you used coins, and I would put a nickel in, pull the handle, watch as it spun around, and the second reel spun, and the third reel spun. And then I'd take another nickel, and I'd pull the handle, and I would repeat that for 3 damn hours. But I left Las Vegas as a winner.
So what was Vegas like back then?
Back in the day, Las Vegas was entirely different than it is today. They couldn't do enough for you. When the mob ran the place, if you were fair with them, they were fair with you. They would go out of their way to be nice to you. Not so much today. Today it's run by corporations, and they have bottom line economics. And if they can take an extra half of 1% out of the take, they're going to do it. You ask anybody in Las Vegas today, whether they work there or they live there or they're a tourist there, same thing. Bring back the mob.
Do you go there often?
I go there often, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, especially during that period of time I call in between wives, when I either take my girlfriend or my mother. She loved Vegas. First of all, like as I say, back in the day, they couldn't do enough for you. They used to comp me to the room, food, all my drinks, and my airfare. They don't do that much today, unless you're a very, very high roller. And we did very well out there. I enjoyed that a lot. Here's a photo of my mother and one of my big winnings. Here she is, happy as can be, holding about $17,000 worth of chips and money.
Did you have a favorite hotel?
Yes, the Sahara Hotel. It wasn't the biggest hotel, but they treated me nicer than any other hotel. Besides the fact that they comped me to everything, when you got there, they remembered your name. Hi, Dr. F, how are you? Did you bring your mom with you this time? I don't get that today. I've been at some of the hotels many, many times. They don't even know my name. One time at the Sahara, we got there a little bit too early to check in. Hotel room wasn't ready. So I said to my mom, well, let's go into the casino and see what's going on. So we walk into the casino, and my casino host or the pit boss sees me and says, hi, Dr. F, and there you brought your mom. Come on over here. And he takes us over to this craps table. And my mom says, whose dice is it? And he says, yours. And he hands her the dice. And she shoots up a hand for about 20 minutes. When she finally sevens out and the dice get passed to me, I hold the dice for 40 minutes. We're ahead $6,000. I haven't even checked into the hotel yet. We actually wound up winning a total of about $7,500 for the whole trip. But that $6,000 cushion came in very handy.
Did you ever take your son?
I took my son Barry when he was 21 years old and old enough to gamble in the casinos. And we stayed at Caesar's Palace for 2.5 days. Here's a photo of him at the Bacchanal room at Caesar's. They had, the wine girl would actually give you a massage. She could also pour wine from like a goat skin from about 3 feet away from the table, and that stream would go right into your glass. So we stayed 2.5 days at Caesar's Palace. They comped me to room, food, all my drinks, and gave me $1,200 for airfare. Then we went over to the Tropicana and for another 2.5 days, and they gave me room, food, all my drinks, and $1,200 for airfare. So I had a little thing going. I'm ahead before I ever hit the tables. But that trip was phenomenal for one reason. I did not lose at any session over the 5 days we were there. It was just incredible. Not one session, no matter what I did. Blackjack, roulette, I played I think once, craps, baccarat. Here's a picture of my son with our winnings on the last day. That's $22,000 in chips and cash. And my son said to me, hey, Dad, this is easy. I said, no, son, it's not as easy as it looks.
Did you ever go by yourself?
Oh, yeah. That's when I met Las Vegas's ladies of the evening. Remember the Beatles song, Can't Buy Me Love? I guess I never went to Vegas, because there you buy it by the hour.
What were the women like?
Oh, yeah. I have a long history with escorts. I have a lot of empathy for them. Maybe I was a courtesan in a past life. I don't know. But I met some really, really nice people out there. I was there for a convention one time, and out on the casino floor, I saw these two girls, one of whom was really, really attractive, and they were propositioning some of the people out on the floor. And I'm a little shy when it comes to that. I was hoping they would come to me, but they didn't. And I just wouldn't go over to them. So it was around lunchtime. I went into the lunch. I sat down at the lunch counter. And a couple of minutes later, the two girls come in, and they sat down at the other end of the counter. So I said, okay, I got a shot here. I called over the waitress, and I said, you see the two girls down at the end? I'll take their check. So when they got that note, they came over and thanked me. And that's how I met Tracy. Tracy was absolutely gorgeous. Blue-green eyes, crazy body. She was really, really nice. So she gave me her phone number and said, next time you come to Vegas, give me a call. And I said, you can bet on it. So the next time I went to Vegas, I called Tracy, but Candy answered the phone and said that Tracy had gone back to Colorado, but she would like to meet me. And I said, okay. And so I met Candy, and we had something going for probably maybe 3 or 4 years. Really sweet. We used to send each other Christmas cards. She was just really, really a doll. One time I was out there with my mother, and she knew. I mean, I never kept any secrets from my mother. She says, you know, I really like to see what a hooker looks like. So when Candy came over, my mother stood off in the background just to see what Candy looked like. The next day when my mom saw me, she says, that's a hooker? She says, I thought she was a movie star.
So you saw her often?
Yeah, when I was single, almost every time I went to Vegas. In fact, just about every time I went to Vegas. Well, one time she said to me, Steve, what's your fantasy? I don't know. Oh, come on, everybody has a fantasy. What's your fantasy? I don't know, I just really never gave it any thought. She says, have you ever had a threesome? I'll take that one, that sounds good. So she said, Tracy may be coming back from Colorado. So the next time you come to Vegas, you're gonna get to see both of us. Oh, I looked forward to that. So on the plane trip going out to Vegas the next time I went, I said a little prayer. God, if there's going to be a crash, let it be on the way back.
Were there any other girls you remember?
Oh yeah. One time I was staying at the Aladdin Hotel, and I was sitting down playing blackjack, and I was facing the bar. And at the bar there were 2 or 3 working girls, and one of them was getting a really, really rough time from the security. And he was very loud, and I'm trying to concentrate on my blackjack, and I can't because he's so annoying. What are you doing there? And he says, let me see your ID. And she says, well, who are you? Because he wasn't in uniform. She says, let me see your ID. And it's going back and forth. I finally couldn't take it anymore. I pick up my chips, put them in my pocket, and I come around from the bar, from the table to the bar, just as he's saying to her, well, what are you doing there, here? And she says, well, I'm waiting for my boyfriend. As soon as I hear that, I walk up and I wave. His back is to me. She sees me coming, and she says, oh, here he is. She picked up on it right away. The security guard spins around and looks at me and says, are you a guest here? I said, yeah, I'm a comped guest. What is it to you, and why are you bothering my girlfriend? And he said, oh, I'm sorry, sir. And he backs off. And so I said, you ready, honey? And she says, yes. And so arm in arm, we walk out of the casino. And as we're getting out the door, she says to me, that was really nice of you. I really, really appreciate that. Are you staying here at this hotel? And I said, yeah. She says, I'm going to show you how much I appreciate it. And I got a freebie.
But there were times you did take a girlfriend to Vegas with you, right?
Yeah, during that period I call in between wives, that 4-year period, I took my girlfriend out there. Her name was Jo. Beautiful girl. We almost got married. And the person who booked me out at the Tropicana told the casino hosts that I was probably going to propose to my girlfriend on that trip. So out of the blue, they gave me the penthouse suite, a 2-story suite that was absolutely incredible. On the top floor, there was a spiral staircase with a huge chandelier. The top floor had the bedroom, which overlooked the ground floor. It had 2 sinks. The bathroom was enormous. It had a toilet, a bidet, a shower big enough for 4 people, and it had a sauna. In fact, here's a picture of Jo in the sauna lying down. And it was just great. It was really, really nice. Now, I made the mistake of telling my future wife, because Jo and I never did get married. That was like a honeymoon, though. But I did make the mistake of telling my next girlfriend, who became my second wife, about the penthouse.
Did she ever find out about the penthouse?
So naturally, when we went out to Vegas again, she wanted that suite. As it happened, the Tropicana did give me a suite, but not the penthouse suite. Which brings me to the story of the $1 million painting.
$1 million painting?
Now you might be wondering, what kind of painting or reproduction is worth $1 million? Well, this reproduction hangs in my living room, and it's a very famous painting by Salvador Dali. And a lot of Salvador Dali's paintings could be viewed from two different angles and you see something entirely different. With this particular painting, if you're up close, it looks like a nude looking in the mirror. But as you back away, it morphs into the face of Abraham Lincoln. So here's how this painting cost me $1 million. My wife and I and some friends were out in Las Vegas. We went to dinner at the Bacchanal room at Caesar's Palace. And as we're going to the restaurant, I saw a bank of slot machines, and for the first time I saw what they call a progressive slot machine. That's when they first were put into Vegas. And the payoff on that particular machine was $1,200,000. So I said to my wife, hey, after dinner, I'm going to give you $100 and I want you to go play the machine. And she said, okay. So we eat dinner, and after dinner I said, okay, here's $100, let's go play. And she said, no, we want to go through the forum shops first. Okay. So we looked through a couple of places, and I said, okay, we ready to go to the slot machine? No. We go to another place, and finally we walk into this store which has all of these paintings, these reproductions. And I spot that famous painting by Salvador Dali. And I said to my wife, take a look at this. And we move up close, and she says, yeah, I see a nude. Yes, it's a nude looking in the mirror. Now let's back away, and you're going to see it morph into the face of Abraham Lincoln. So we back up, and she says, I don't see it. As well, go up a little bit closer again. You see the nude. Yes. Back away with me until you see the face of Abraham Lincoln. I don't see it. Well, we stayed there for 5 minutes for her trying to see the face of Abraham Lincoln. She never saw it. Finally, I said, let's give up. Here's the $100. Please go play the machines. So as we walk up to the machine, somebody pulls the handle and wins $1,200,000. And I froze. That was my money. We were off by just 30 seconds of winning a little over $1 million. And so that's why I say that painting hangs in my living room, and it's the painting that cost me $1 million. In the next chapter, we're discussing my family. I call it All in the Family.